TV streaming this week, we have more Neil Gaiman fallout, this time over on Netflix. The Penguin reviews are in, and it looks like it is going to be a fantastic Thursday, if I do say so myself. Plus, Netflix wants in on some of that YouTube pie. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit more, so let's jump into it. Hello, nerds! This is the weekly TV news show. Not like the evening news with Tom Brokaw. No, nothing like that. This has more to do with TV shows, nerdy-oriented TV shows, as well as episodic content that you will find on streaming platforms. If this is your kind of thing, then you can check out the full episode that I like to call The Week in Nerddom, that covers all spectrum of pop culture and just generally nerdy things over on the main channel. You can find it linked down in the description or at the end of this video. All of that being said, let's talk about TV shows and nerdy stuff like that. So, follow-ups and corrections for TV. We have another really not great thing to talk about, follow-ups and corrections for TV. Netflix has canceled Dead Boy Detectives. This normally would not be noteworthy, but it has been explicitly tied to the current goings-on with Neil Gaiman. The whole accusations against him and all of the legal issues that Gaiman is in, a lot of the properties that he is a part of, Sandman, Good Omens we talked about previously, are in some sort of limbo. And Netflix being Netflix just said, well, we already canceled the Deadwood, or what was it, Wormwood, I think was the name of that show. That was a very similar style story that was being told, it's also based on a young adult fiction novel. So we don't have to keep this one around either. Let's just axe it. Like that's kind of the way it's gone because of the situation that Neil Gaiman has put himself into. So, I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully Sandman isn't too affected by this, and also hopefully Good Omens gets to at least finish their final season. But aside from that, like, there's a movie that Disney was going to put out that's done filming that is now on hiatus as well because of the Neil Gaiman situation. I forget that it's something with book. I can't remember what it was because they didn't put it in the notes because whatever, I take amazing notes. But this is just so widely affecting at this point. It's super duper unfortunate. So yeah, Dead Boy Detectives canceled at Netflix. Trailers this week. We got a couple of really fantastic trailers for TV shows. First up, we got the final Penguin trailer, and this is actually, I believe, a scene for it. A scene from the first episode. So far, the critics are liking. We've gotten the critic reviews for the one season of the Penguin, because I don't think they're going to do multiples, but for the Penguin season that's about to drop on Thursday on Max, and it's been getting good reviews. We'll see when the audience score drops, because that's not going to happen until it releases again on Thursday. So go check out the link in the description if you want to see the first, I think it's like 6 minutes of the first episode. Then we have a trailer for a series I think should have been on my radar and totally wasn't, and it is Dexter Original Sin. Actually, now that I say that out loud, I think we did talk about this when it was originally announced. We got the trailer for Original Sin. It is the prequel series to the Dexter show, the serial killer who helps the cops find other serial killers. That one? Yeah. So it is going to be starring... Where did my list go? Patrick Gibson, Christian Slater, Patrick Dempsey, Molly Brown, James Martinez, Christina Milian, Alex Shimizu, I don't know who that is, Reno Wilson, and special guest star Sarah Michelle Gellar. That's quite the cast right there. And then also Michael C. Hall will be returning to reprise his role, technically speaking, because he's going to be the voice of the inner monologue for Patrick Gibson, who's going to play Dexter as a younger man. So super interesting. If you're a fan of Dexter, it looks like this is going to be much in the same vein, hopefully better. We can only hope. That's what we got for trailers, though, this week. Let's jump into some regular-ass news. First up is a bit of a bummer. We got lots of not-so-great news this week, unfortunately. Peter Renaday If you do not know who that is, you know his voice. Peter Renaday did the voice for Splinter in the original 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. He also was a voice in Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty and has done a number of other voices throughout his career. He passed on at the age of 89. And this is very potentially, the official cause of death was not released just yet as we are going to record today, but it is presumed that it is a heat-related death. He had reported to his granddaughter that he was having issues with his air conditioning unit. He did live in California, and it is summer, the end of summer, but still summer. So rolling brownouts, power issues, already having issues with his AC. Yeah, not a good combination for a man who is almost 90 years old. So that was a heavy one. Let's take a minute and remember Peter Renaday.
I, in turn, named them after my favorite Renaissance painters.
They wanted him to sound like a very learned man, and the sensei, you know, the teacher.
It's news!
Wait! Come back with my hiding place!
And when I had to do Vernon, I wanted to get as far away from that as possible, so I got into a little bit of a higher register. Oh, April! Come on, let me do something. Let me get some credit.
Is that really Solid Snake?
That's what he claims.
I thought Snake was dead.
Solid Snake did die. But he's also here in the shell. Either he survived or there are two of them.
Okay, let's bring things up just a little bit. Next on the list is the Emmys happened, and nobody really cared, except for the fact that The Bear won 11 awards. So congratulations to everybody involved with The Bear. Hopefully this means we will get to at least come to some sort of conclusion to Carmine's story. Hopefully another 4 or 5 seasons from now, because that show is just so damn good. But yeah, congratulations to everybody involved with The Bear. Aside from that, I really don't care about the Emmys. So let's move on, shall we? From there, let's talk about, oh God, this is the big one, right? Netflix is trying to squeeze in on some of YouTube's streaming money. Streaming lunch, the chicken wings is where we're going with that. There was supposed to be a chicken wing joke in there. And yeah, so Hot Ones is apparently being sniped, or Netflix is attempting to snipe Hot Ones to a certain degree from YouTube. As it stands right now, episodes of Hot Ones currently air on some basic cable channel. I can't remember. It's like TNT, TBS or something. They do episodes of Hot Ones on there with commercials and stuff. It's really weird. So this wouldn't be the first time that somebody else is trying to squeeze in. This one's a little bit more unique though, because Netflix doesn't want Hot Ones as it is right now, because the way Hot Ones works is it is pre-recorded and then they edit a bunch of the stuff out. Netflix is really leaning on this live streaming stuff. You have a show with David Chang. He has the lunch show where he cooks some celebrity friends and has a big conversation, very similar to the Bert Kreischer podcast, Something's Burning with Bert Kreischer. Very similar to that, but it's on Netflix and it's David Chang, so it's actually good food. But that's a live show. They did the live broadcast for Joe Rogan's last special. They've done a number of live things. So they're really rolling on this live stuff. So the angle with the Hot Ones would be a live version of Hot Ones. So there wouldn't be cuts, there wouldn't be any of that dramatic editing. It would just be them eating the wings and asking the questions. So you're taking a roughly 20 to 30 minute show and turning it into something more like probably an hour show, because I can only imagine how much they cut out of those episodes. But yeah, Netflix is really trying to get in on some of the YouTube is their biggest competition. Netflix dwarfs all of the other streamers aside from YouTube, because YouTube kind of has it right with their structure, their pay structure. They pay the people who create for their platform moderately well, but they also have a free platform. The only thing you have to do is sit through some ads. and it's working for them. They're in the positive these days. So yeah, I think that's more what Netflix should be working towards, and not necessarily sniping content from YouTube. That's just my opinion though. That's all we've got for regular ass news. Let's get into suggestion for this episode. Your suggestion this episode, again, we are in spooky season. It is the fall. We are talking about Michael Flanagan's Fall of the House of Usher. Sorry, it's first day with the new lips. Fall of the House of Usher is, I just finished watching it again. This is kind of like number 2.5 because we rewatch episodes so frequently. But yeah, just Edgar Allan Poe already is kind of fall material. You want to read the Edgar Allan Poe, the shorts and the poems and the stories and the things, because that's just the time of year that we're in. So it makes a lot of sense, and you just really get into the fall spirit, right? Well, Michael Flanagan made it a little bit easier. You can watch the stories of Edgar Allan Poe play out in gory fashion, and in some of the best television this side of the bear. that's not 100% accurate, but since we made the comment. Yeah, there is a little bit of a warning with this suggestion because there is some very hard to watch scenes when it comes to animal issues. So some of the earlier episodes, definitely, if you're squeamish when it comes to that stuff, look, what's the name of that website? DoesTheDogLive.com, I think is. Look up which episodes I'm specifically talking about because I can't tell you. I do know that The Telltale Heart, though, my favorite episode of this series, is not one that really gets into the animal stuff too much, but there is still a little bit there. Just really great. It works as a social commentary to a certain degree, though a little heavy-handed at times. It definitely works as a fantastic adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's work and sets itself apart because it is Michael Flanagan being Michael Flanagan. So yeah, that's your suggestion for the week. Follow the House of Usher on Netflix. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.